What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And oh my goodness, do we have some absolutely massive news out of Santa Clara today. If you are a San Francisco 49ers fan, you are going to want to sit down for this one, because what is happening with this defense right now is something that nobody nobody saw coming at the start of this offseason. So before we get into everything, make sure you smash that like button right now, hit subscribe if you are new here, and turn on the notifications because we are dropping 49ers content every single day this offseason. Alright, let's get into it. Let me start by painting you a picture of where the San Francisco 49ers were just a few months ago, because context is everything here. This is a team that finished the 2025 NFL season with an NFLLOW 20 sacks. 20 sacks. Let that sink in for a second. That averages out to just 1.18 sacks per game, which, by the way, is the fewest ever recorded by a playoff team in the entire history of this league. A team that went 12-5, won a playoff game, and still could not get after the quarterback to save their lives. And honestly, that number does not even fully tell the story of how bad it was, because the interior defensive tackle group combined for only 4.5 sacks on the entire season. 4.5 from your defensive tackles. That is almost statistically impossible in today's NFL, and it was a massive reason why this team ultimately fell short when it mattered most. Now, add to that the injury catastrophe that absolutely wrecked this defense in 2025. Nick Bosa, the best defensive player on this roster, and arguably one of the top 3 pass rushers in the entire NFL, went down with a torn ACL and missed significant time. And then, almost like the football gods had it out for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, first-round rookie Michael Williams, the guy they drafted 11th overall in 2025 specifically to be Nick Bosa's long-term running mate, also tore his ACL and ended his rookie season early. You cannot make this stuff up. 2 of your best pass rushers, gone in the same season on the same injury. The fact that San Francisco still went 12-5 with all of that is honestly a testament to how talented this roster is from top to bottom. But the pass rush problem, it was a 5-alarm fire that could not be ignored any longer. So when John Lynch stood up at the NFL Combine back in February and said publicly, on the record, that fixing the defensive line and getting after the quarterback was the absolute #1 priority of this entire offseason, everyone was paying attention. And Lynch did not waste any time making moves. The first domino fell in March, and it was a significant one. The 49ers reached into their pockets and made a trade with the Dallas Cowboys, acquiring defensive tackle Osa Odighizuwa in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick. Now, if you do not know who Osa Odighizuwa is, let me tell you, this guy is an absolute interior menace. In 2025, despite only recording 3.5 sacks on the stat sheet, he ranked first among all defensive tackles in the entire NFL in quarterback hits with 23. First in the whole league. Among all defensive tackles, he also ranked 5th in pass rush win rate and 20th in pressure rate. Over his last 5 seasons, Odighizuwa ranks 4th among all defensive tackles in quarterback hits with 81. This is not a name guy. This is not a flashy move. This is exactly the kind of chess piece move that separates good general managers from elite ones. Lynch knew exactly what this defense needed on the interior, and he went and got the best available answer. Now, the Cowboys are absorbing $16 million in dead money on that contract, while the 49ers are locked in with Odighizuwa through 2028. He is owed $16.25 million fully guaranteed in 2026 and $20 million in each of the following 2 seasons. So this is a real commitment. This is not a one-year rental. John Lynch looked at the interior of this defensive line and said, "We are building something here that is going to last." And that is exactly the energy you want from your general manager when you are trying to get back to the Super Bowl. But here is where it gets even more interesting. And this is the part of the story that has the entire 49ers fan base absolutely buzzing right now. Because signing Odighizuwa was just the first move. The 49ers also went out and signed former Cincinnati Bengals defensive end Cam Sample to a one-year deal. Now, Sample is coming into this with something to prove, and he is joining a defensive line that is about to be loaded. You have Nick Bosa coming back healthy from that torn ACL. You have Michael Williams, who even in his limited 9 games as a rookie led the NFL in a run defense statistic and showed flashes of being a legitimate every down defender, even if the sacks are not going to be his calling card. You now have Osa Odighizuwa clogging up the interior and collapsing pockets. And you have Cam Sample adding another body that can get after the quarterback from multiple alignments. This defensive line is starting to look genuinely scary. And then, and this is where things take a truly wild turn, the Bosa brother saga enters the picture. Because for the last 2 months, the football world has been obsessed with one question. Will Joey Bosa, the 5-time Pro Bowler, the former Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Nick Bosa's older brother, end up in San Francisco? The idea of the Bosa brothers playing together on the same defensive line in the NFL has been the stuff of fantasy for years. Mama Bosa herself, Cheryl Bosa, has been publicly campaigning for this on social media. She did it last year when Joey eventually signed with the Buffalo Bills instead, and she is doing it again right now. And honestly, who can blame her? Joey Bosa is 30 years old, coming off a 15-game season with the Bills in 2025, where he posted 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, which led the entire NFL 29 total tackles, and 2 passes defended. Now, is he the same Joey Bosa who was terrorizing quarterbacks in Los Angeles? No, age and injuries have taken something from him. But 5 forced fumbles leading the league. The ball-stripping instincts are still absolutely there. And on a defense where Nick Bosa can force quarterbacks into uncomfortable situations on every snap, having a veteran presence like Joey on the other side could be the kind of chess match that offensive coordinators have nightmares about. But here is the complication, and it is a real one. John Lynch was asked directly at the NFL owners' meetings whether the 49ers could afford Joey Bosa, and Lynch was honest about it. He said, and I quote, "I know Mama Bosa would love that, but I don't know if we can afford him." Kyle Shanahan was asked the same question at a recent media availability, and Shanahan, in classic Shanahan fashion, gave an answer that was equal parts hopeful and realistic. He said, "I love signing good players. I look at our team as we kind of have our team, and anyone else we can figure out to bring, especially someone like that, that would be awesome. But that stuff's not always possible. That is coach speak for, we want him, we just do not know if the numbers can work." And that is the tension that has the 49ers universe split right down the middle right now. On one hand, San Francisco currently has the most cap space in the entire NFL heading into training camp, sitting at just under $70 million available. $70 million. That is the most of any team in the league. So the money is there. The will is there. The need is there. And the marketing department would absolutely lose their minds if they could put both Bosa brothers in red and gold. On the other hand, the 49ers used a 3rd-round pick to get Odighizuwa. They just signed Cam Sample. They already committed massive money to Nick Bosa's contract. And they also need to think about the future development of Michael Williams, who when healthy could be the edge rushing partner. This team needs for the next decade.